I watched the Sverige video.
I'm going to be reviewing a video by Charlie Kirk. It's called "College Kid Gives the Craziest Abortion Argument I've Ever Heard."
Hello, Charlie. Hello. My name's Adam. So I want to ask you, what do you think about veganism?
I am not a fan of veganism, but you have a right to be vegan, obviously.
So let me clarify. You abortion. You support pretty much banning abortion in most situations.
Yes, but humans are not rabbits.
Yes. So
and humans are not deer. Humans are not cows.
Okay. So I want to ask you, do you think it's a little bit hypocritical?
He already knows where the vegan is going.
That you oppose abortion, but you also oppose veganism. Most animals, most adult like cows, pigs, chickens, they're more intelligent than fetuses, and.
How is that relevant? It's not as if any human chooses anybody's life because of intelligence. It's not as if you think, oh, I'm gonna save this guy's life because of how intelligent he is.
You're a tech guy.
That answers your question.
And when it comes to your own child, the child inside of you in this case, then you never think, oh, is his life worth something, or her life, because of how intelligent they are? Nobody. Only a vegan could think of something this stupid.
Little children, small infants.
So that's not what he's suggesting. Oh my god.
Yes, very weighing on kids' rights to life and how that compares to animal rights. The thought of him having an opinion on that alone is laughable. Guy who almost killed his own kid.
Yep, Sverige paid a hitman to kill his own son and ex-girlfriend, and he was unsuccessful in doing that. And now he's an internationally wanted criminal. I don't know why Sverige would have a pro-life stance. He's literally said he's against having any laws, and he thinks it's okay to kill and rape kids. So
I can't believe I have to answer this. Can I?
Only people who don't have children could ever even think of something like this. If this guy would have children, he probably can because he's vegan. He's likely infertile because veganism does lead to infertility.
That's one I haven't heard before. Sverige tried to kill his own son. He hired a hitman to throw a Molotov cocktail into his son's bedroom. So, I don't know. And again, he's made many, many videos talking about how he thinks there's like a secret society that he refers to as the Illuminati who kills children and bathes in their blood. And he actually supports that. He thinks it's a good thing to kill children and drink their blood and eat them and shit. He's also in support of child rape. So I don't know why... Like, maybe this is just a thing he does for YouTube to seem like a more likable, relatable person, but we know what he actually believes. If you watch any of his old YouTube videos that have been deleted now, or if you watch his Telegram videos, he doesn't have a problem with murdering children.
Although he's relatively young still, and who knows how long he's been vegan. If he's been vegan for a few months, then it's probably still possible. Point being, if he had children, then he wouldn't be saying this because he would feel the love for his children. If you don't have children, then you think about something such as intellect and you compare children, even children in the womb, to a pig or a cow. But when you have a child, then you never think like this because you see these human beings as your own children. It's your blood and flesh, so to speak. Of course, you would not ever, even in any way, no matter what the...
By the way, again, Sverige has made a video where he said it's a good thing to have sex with your own children. He currently has a child with his current girlfriend. So just imagine what might be happening in that home.
Scenario is compare them to any kind of other animals because it's your children. That's all that matters. The feelings that you have towards them.
Yeah, so how come you're saying that
Can I answer?
Okay, yes, yeah, go on.
Okay, if you leave a cow for 5 years, will the cow ever be able to talk?
No?
If you leave a fetus for 5 years, will the fetus be able to talk?
Yeah?
Okay.
Sure.
So
Maybe.
then which one has reason and a soul and can make sense of the natural world? A.
He's a Christian, he believes in a soul, whatever, you can believe whatever you want. His point is, of course, still valid, because really what he's saying is that humans care about humans. That's really essentially his point. That's what it's boiling down to.
A. An elevated being worthy of protection.
But that's
power a human being.
That's not a good argument. That's like saying humans that are born, that are without the ability to speak can't have rights.
It's not just about speaking, it's about...
Sverige doesn't even believe in that. Again, I debated him with Milk Jar years ago it was a double debate, Ask Yourself and I versus Sverige and Milk Jar. They both literally said they're against having any laws. They're like the most extreme form of anarchists you could imagine. He advocated for the idea of abolishing human rights and allowing for rape, murder, genocide, slavery. So how can he be in favor of that, but then claim he cares about people?
Reason. It's about having a soul. It's about being not an animal. What is a human being to you?
Being not an animal, what are humans then? Plants? Are we fungi? We are, by every definition, biologically, animals. Animals feel the same as we do. We can see that ourselves, we can sense it, but it also has been biologically proven.
That is a very strange admission that he's admitting animals feel the same way we do. Yet he's perfectly fine with killing animals. His moral justifications for things make absolutely no sense, and he contradicts himself constantly, so I'm assuming it's just some naturalistic fallacy that, it's natural to kill and eat animals, so that's why I do it.
They may not be as intelligent, sure. They may not be able to talk, or at least communicate the way we do, although in nature, from the very so-called beginning, there was also no language. Languages were invented by humans as a way to communicate, and the languages which we use today are really just a way to enslave us, but that's off topic.
A human being is someone who has personality, and someone who can speak, and if you mean like biologically, like someone of
Just give me a definition of, you have a dog and a human being. How do you know which is which?
a human being can walk and talk and yeah.
A dog can walk.
Yeah. But I can't walk and talk, sure.
Here's the difference. A human being can tell you the difference between right and wrong. An animal can only tell you the difference between pleasure and pain.
Yeah, but
Pleasure and pain. It's such a typical Christian response.
By the way, I don't even know how Charlie Kirk can even make that argument, because you can see that animals will feel guilt or remorse for doing things. And they'll try to apologize in interesting ways, or reciprocate by like giving you things. Like crows will find pretty objects for you and bring them to you if you help them. Like, really weird.
Of course, no animal on earth, including humans, knows what right and wrong is instinctually, seeing as our instinct tells us what we are supposed to do, how to respond, and we of course also respond to pain and pleasure. When we feel pain, we don't do something, we learn from it, we don't do it anymore. And if we feel pleasure, then we know that it's good for us. It's the best way to know what's good for you, in your life in general.
Oh, so that's how you know if something's good for you, if it feels good. I guess that makes crystal meth one of the best things you can do, because it makes you feel good.
To be happy and healthy, pleasure, joy. That's how every animal knows it, including humans. What he's talking about is that he grew up as a slave, he was brainwashed, and then he learned what right and wrong is. The difference between us and other animals is that the other animals didn't learn a language. They cannot. You can argue about some animals, they can somewhat understand us and learn very basic language. And through this language, we were brainwashed. It is as if you put a spell over human beings. I have videos where I get deeper into this topic. That's it. A lion is gonna eat meat because he follows his instinct. A human is in this case gonna not because he was brainwashed through language not to. That's it. He still actually knows because of pleasure and the biochemical response of your body how good it is to eat meat, which proves that it's healthy for us. But he was brainwashed through language. There's nothing at all good about it. That's my point to Charlie Kirk.
Animals still suffer like human beings.
But again, the moral worth of a human being is objectively different because we are able to make moral
It is not objectively different. So Charlie, since he's a religious retard, probably a moral realist.
contentions, not
I really don't like that he uses the word objectively when it's purely subjective what he's talking about. It's purely his opinions.
That's hilarious. Even Sverige, a retard like Sverige, is a moral anti-realist. That is insane.
And religious beliefs. Again, it's all fine. Believe whatever you want. You may be completely right. But in this case, he isn't, of course. But in general, whatever you believe, you could, of course, be right. That's my point. You can believe whatever you want. But it's just that when you talk about your beliefs as if those beliefs are correct, it's objective truth, then you only show how close-minded you are because you're saying what I believe, and if you believe something that is subjective anyway, is absolute truth. But what you believe is subjective. And of course, all of it is subjective. It's just not good in a debate or when you're talking to anybody to talk about your beliefs as if it's objective truth. Right away, you seem very close-minded, as if you believe that you have it all figured out. And come on, who has it all figured out?
not just contentions based on how we feel. Animals can only feel. They cannot reason.
Yeah, but that's...
And therefore...
Of course, animals can reason, or how does he define reasoning? An animal learns how to hunt, they figure out which time is the best to attack, they lurk. There's reasoning behind it, except if he can give a different definition. Let me look up the definition actually. The Cambridge definition is the process of thinking about something in order to make a decision. Absolutely, I can't think of any animal that doesn't have reasoning, especially the predators. Their whole life revolves around reasoning.
That's weird. This is becoming more of a critique of Charlie Kirk than it is of the vegan activist.
Exactly this definition.
We should be treated different morally. Now, from a typical Western religious view, we have souls as human beings, and animals do not. And as a soul, I mean not just...
It's not really worth mentioning this because you cannot prove it. There's just no point whatsoever because you can't actually make a point. When you say that we have a soul and they don't, you just get nowhere with it.
In the religious sense, but I also mean that there is a part of you that is not just your five senses, right?
Okay, sure. Well,
So for example, if you think you're only your five senses, which one of your five senses is telling you that?
well, I don't know what you mean by five senses. You mean my brain?
Well, your five senses: sight,
Sight?
smell, taste, feel, hear. Five senses. So an animal only has five senses. It
Yes.
does not have an ability to withdraw itself from its fifth sense, right?
Yeah, but how do you believe that?
Give me 10 minutes and I can face you in T8 matches, Casey.
These five senses, it's an old belief. You could also add 10 other senses. When you look at the way we intuitively react to whatever, our instinct, there's way more so-called senses.
It's okay to kill an animal when it's not okay to kill a child. You defend a child more. Some children die. Some children never make it out of the womb.
Well, because human beings are human, A is A, and human beings are worthy of protection, and animals are not humans, and they're not the moral equivalency, correct?
Yes, because humans, not always, but a lot of times protect other humans because you protect your own species, especially your own family. That's always the case. The same way deer will protect deer and lions will protect lions. if lions would be dominating on this earth, then they would be protecting lions and they wouldn't care about humans.
Yeah, Javier Bardem, he's a...
That's it. We are simply talking about us because we are in power.
No, but I don't believe that. I'm not trying to argue that a human is worth more than an animal. I'm saying that even if a human is worth more than an animal, you should give animals respect.
I do give animals respect. We should treat them humanely. If you are to eat them, you should kill them in a way that this.
We don't treat them humanely. Treating an animal humanely would be by doing what humans do to animals in nature. And that I can't mention on YouTube. Watch any nature documentaries. Nobody treats animals humanely anymore because it's not even allowed.
Not an unjust suffering.
What about milk? But animals are raped all the time. Cows are raped to produce milk. Yeah, to produce milk, a cow has to be impregnated, and it's not like these farmers are waiting for the animal to get pregnant naturally. They have to be forcibly inseminated. What is a form of rape?
I actually think it's a great thing that we have dairy.
Okay, but I don't think that that drinking milk in and of itself is bad. But saying that animals can be raped is okay. That's beyond me.
You think that cows are being? I gotta be honest.
Yes.
I've been doing this for 12 years. I've never heard that before.
Yes, but they are.
This is actually a very typical vegan argument. I suppose that you could technically say that it's true. If you would do that to humans, that's what you would be calling it. But again, we don't call it that because it's other animals. If other animals would be in power, then they would probably not say the same if that would be happening to us. Again, it just depends on who you look at. If you look at that being done to humans, then that's exactly what you call it, because we're talking about humans. I don't think he understands that humans don't look at other animals the same way we look at our own species.
Because they're not referred to as being raped. They're said to be forcibly inseminated. How come that's okay, but rape?
He has a good point. It's all about language. I talk about this a lot. That's a tricky topic to talk about on YouTube, but most Americans, for example, support murder, absolutely, and they even celebrate it, but they call it something else simply. That's it. It's exactly the same, but they call it something else.
Being a small child is not.
I would not.
What is he talking about?
Yeah. I don't support raping anyone.
I don't support raping human beings. I wouldn't call extracting milk from a cow the same as what happens if a woman is raped by some savage.
I'm not talking about extracting milk. I'm talking about when you inseminate a cow to get it pregnant so it can produce milk. Yes.
Yeah, not that worried about that.
Why not? Do you not think their suffering is worth anything?
I think their suffering is fine. Again, they're not human beings, and whatever allows the human being to flourish is what we should be concerned about.
That's a very actually natural perspective, because that's exactly how every animal thinks.
All right.